our recent event and to
Yes, sir.
share some updates. And also, we have a cool surprise coming up for you. Of course, I'm Nicholas, the co-founder of the business club. I'm joined here by Danny, our co-founder. Danny, it's been a while since we've done one of these, right?
Yeah, man. It's
Seems like
been it's been 5 months because the last time that we did it was after our holiday party, right? I think,
right.
if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's been some time.
I think so. So yeah, event last week. What'd you think of it?
We did. I think it was great. I think it was great. The best part was the fact that I would say more than half the room was new,
Yeah,
first time attendees, which I think is fantastic because that just shows how the group has grown. It shows that we're reaching more of an audience of business owners. So it's really exciting to see a lot of new faces come to the events.
it's very rare to have that many new people. Yeah, for anyone who missed it, we were at Carmela Coffee over in Tradition, right at the heart.
Yep. It was a good time. It was great. Thank you to Zach and Sean, the managers and the assistant managers. They did a fantastic job putting out, some snacks, some hors d'oeuvres, some pastries, offering some complimentary drinks, which I think was fantastic. And we had a lot of patronage too. A lot of the attendees purchased from Carmela as well. So thank you to them. I think Carmela did a fantastic job.
Yeah, what a perfect place for a venue. And we had to do this one as a pop-up because we didn't want to overcrowd the place. So when we
Right.
do a pop-up, we only promote it about 1 week ahead of time. And I think
Yeah.
it worked out perfectly because we had how many, like maybe like
We had up to 60, if I'm
60,
not
yeah,
mistaken,
around 60
55,
people.
60
Yeah,
people came to the pop-up,
which was
which
perfect for that type of
right.
venue.
Yeah. Yeah, and they have an outdoor space too.
Yeah,
So I'm sure we could have held more, but I think for that venue, 55 to 60 was like a good number.
it was perfect. Yeah, so if anyone's joining us live, please put a comment in the chat. Let us know who we got joining us. We'll give you a shout out. If you have any
Mhm.
questions, obviously, let us know. We would love to thank Luminique. I
Yes.
always say it wrong. The photo
Lumique,
booth people,
Lumique.
Luminique.
Yeah.
Frankie was there at the event with
Mhm.
something very interesting. He had a
Yes.
mobile photo booth. That was the
He
first
did.
time I've ever seen one of those.
Yeah, that it was he was walking around with it, taking snapshots and videos of people on the spot. I think that was pretty cool to have.
Yeah,
It's mobile, it's compact. It you could put it on a stand, you could put it on a table, but I think he wanted to interact
yeah.
with the crowd, so he was going around to each person instead of them coming to him into one isolated area, which I think was pretty cool.
That was pretty cool. So hopefully, if you attended, you got some cool photo booth photos, and you could try the food. There was Carmela put out a whole table full of toast and drinks and pastries. It was quite the spread.
Yeah, and of course to our leadership team, Zach and Oksana, thank you for coming out. I know that it was last minute. Again, a pop up event is intentionally done in a last
Mhm.
minute format because we want it to be spontaneous. We want it to be fun. We wanted it to be
Yeah,
organic. We wanted it to be just laid back, not too much structure, or even though it's well planned, but not too much structure, not too well planned in advance. So thank you to our leadership team who showed up.
yeah,
Appreciate that greatly.
absolutely.
And
I
we
see
had a
we
lot
got
of
Joel
fun.
joining us. What's
Who
up,
came
Joel?
up?
Thank you for joining us. Yeah, we got
Joel,
Joel in the
what's up,
comments.
man? Thank you for stopping in. We normally do these a little later in the evening.
Yeah,
We decided to do it today at 7, but usually we do it anywhere between 7:30 and 8 o'clock, and that's usually after everyone has done with dinner. But everyone's gonna have an opportunity to rewatch this anyway. So,
yes,
but
exactly.
we have a lot of cool things in the pipeline. Nick, why don't you go into our newest launch and talk to us about what's new in the Porcelain Lucy Business Club world?
Yeah, absolutely. So a big announcement is we redid our website. I know, like, woo, exciting.
Yeah.
Um, our website was getting kind of outdated. I'm a huge believer in making sure you have a good website. Obviously, I'm a little bit
For
biased
sure.
there because that's my
For
business.
sure.
But yeah, we have a whole new website, and I think it does a much better job of reflecting the new direction of the business club. So for those of you who don't know, the business club's been around for about 3 years, but earlier this year in January, Danny and I actually this was something we had been talking about in December of last year, but then we started putting it
Yeah.
into play in
Yeah.
January. We pivoted and we changed where we went from being primarily an events driven organization where we were doing these huge massive events almost every month
Yep.
to now we're more about doing smaller intentional events less frequently and doing
Yep.
more in the community, more content, more community service, more tours of local nonprofits, getting the word
Yep.
out, So there's been a shift. We didn't want to just be a networking event organization because there's already a lot of networking events and we want to support them. But we're
Yep.
still doing events. We're just not doing them as frequently. So that was the real reason why, we needed to just redo our website and really focus on the new direction, which is more about serving the community.
And let me ask you this question, Nick. When you, as you yourself are a business owner, of course, you have Earnworthy, which is your platform. When you sit back, for example, Delilah and I will sit down every quarter to review our financial plan in every year, right? But there are times where I'm having conversations with my clients on an ongoing basis with
Mhm.
updates. You, as a marketing platform, Earnworthy, what made you decide, aside from the change in the pivot, but what made you decide to dive in and really focus on recreating the website for the club? Because you have so much else going on
Yeah,
in
I
your
know.
private practice. What
Like,
made you take a step back and go, wait, let me take some time and rebrand or redesign our website? Why?
yeah,
What's
good
the
question.
purpose
First of
behind it?
all, hello, Sammy. I see Sammy joined us.
Sammy,
Thank
what's
you for
happening?
joining us, man.
Thank
What's up?
you.
It's a good question. It's part of it is I'm always testing out new things. So,
Mhm.
this is getting super technical, but the platform that I primarily work in had just come out with a new website builder that was like the talk of the town. And I'm like, well, what project can I use to test this out? And so this was the
Yeah.
first time I've actually deployed a website using this new platform. So it was the perfect testing ground. And it's just a
Mhm.
fun, like I do so much client stuff all the time. This is like a fun project to work on that's not so serious.
But it's sharpening your skills, right?
Yeah.
Because you have to serve your clients and your client base with the most up to, because the thing is technology, and the resources and all the platforms are changing so fast,
Oh,
so
yeah.
quickly, competing with each other. It's really cool to see someone who not only focuses on building brands through marketing, but the fact that you took the time to test it on us and on yourself means that you're sharpening your skills and putting it to work for yourself
Exactly. You
so that
have
you
to
can
be.
provide more
Yeah.
value and be more of an expert and subject matter expert for your clients, which I think is
Yeah,
pretty
and I'm
cool. So
sure in
I'm
your
really
line of
excited.
work, you're doing the same thing, right? You're always trying to keep up on
Yes.
what's
Yeah.
changing with finance, with the
Hmm.
markets, with investing strategies. You have to
Yeah.
stay sharp.
Yeah, you always got to stay sharp. You always got to be updated. You got to, every year I take a snapshot of where we are from an investment and an insurance perspective. And, depending on
Yep.
where our liabilities and where our risk is, sometimes Danny has to go down the path of getting underwritten again, which is fun because I lost 62 pounds since the last time I did it. And I got one of the top health
Crazy.
ratings, which was
Wow.
absolutely amazing. But just like in your practice, I have to implement all these things
Yeah,
in my practice, but it's exciting to
right.
know that each one of us are continuing to evolve in our own practices, but that the club is starting to evolve too. So I can't wait to show what it's
Gonna
been
level up.
updated to.
Yeah. Yeah, why don't we do a quick
Yeah,
screen share? And yes, Joel, I see your comment. Yes, it is AI Studio. That's awesome that you let us know what you've been
yeah,
doing
for
with it
sure.
too, but it's an incredible tool. The game has changed. It is no longer where you start code and you have to know HTML. And now everything is
Yeah,
all AI. So
yeah.
yeah, this
I don't know anything about this stuff, so this is pretty cool to see.
Yeah, here's our site. We're trying to highlight some of our members in here.
Yeah.
Um, and the new direction of the business club, this is actually pretty cool. We've sort of
Hmm.
isolated it down to like 6 different things that we do to try to serve and to provide value. So of course we have our newsletter called The Connection that goes out every single Monday, including today. We
Yep.
have our Facebook group where we first started with 7,100 members. We have our video content, and this is where Danny and I have really been investing our time
Yep.
for the last couple months, where we go out and we do content days. And if we haven't highlighted your business, let us know. Send us a message. We love highlighting businesses. Obviously, we can't guarantee that we'll get to everybody because we get a lot of requests. But if you're doing
Right.
something special in the community, if you're involved with a nonprofit, if you have something that is a really interesting story that you can tell, and it's not just about you promoting, but it's about you serving. We would love to have a discussion and see if we could get you scheduled in on one of those content days. Then we have our
Absolutely.
networking calendar that a lot of people rely on to set up their week and to figure out what is it that they're going to attend. And it's not just our events, obviously. It's the Chamber, it's Martini Network, it's Spam, it's Speed Networking, it's the Women's Network, all the different groups. Then, of course, we
Hmm.
have our events, which we'll talk about our next one shortly. And then
Hmm.
lastly, we have our community service where we do road cleanups, nonprofit tours. We're going to start doing community service days, and we're really trying to activate the business community throughout the Treasure Coast just to serve some of these nonprofits.
Yeah, and if you go back up to
Yeah.
the quickly the connection part, our newsletter, that is such a fantastic opportunity for local business to market their business.
Oh yeah.
The newsletter has been getting a tremendous amount of views, and
Mhm.
not only that, clicks. I think
Yeah.
there's an industry, isn't there like an industry percentage of open rate compared to our newsletter? I think the
Yeah.
open
We're
rate is, what
we're
is
in the
it?
top 10% of newsletters. When you look at business newsletters, we have over a 50% open rate, which is
Wow,
really really high.
50%. And what's
Yeah.
the industry standard
I've
or the
always
average?
I've always known that anything above like a 20% open rate is considered good, and that number is declining because people are sort of becoming email blind as other
Ah,
channels
okay.
become more important. So, even if you could get a 15% open rate, that's considered, decent, but 20 has always been like that thing that you should shoot for to try to get, 20% or more, and we have over a 50% open rate with our newsletter because it's very intentional. It's not us just talking about ourselves, it's us sharing business news. It's We highlight specific networking events. We highlight a nonprofit every month. And then of course there's advertising opportunities in the newsletter.
That's right. And if you're open or interested in any advertising opportunities, feel free to reach out to us. I
Yeah.
am the one that will walk you through it and all our options. Of course, the community, our Facebook group, that's the best place to engage with the community of people that we have. 7,300. You could
Yep.
meet anyone from any industry that you want to do business with. You can find them in the Facebook group, and of
Mhm.
course, the video content. We have a
Yeah.
scheduling calendar where we alternate Mondays and Fridays. So I look forward to all of you guys reaching out so we can schedule that out for you guys. And you know, the networking calendar is going to highlight everything, which is fantastic. I
Yeah,
love
this
that.
is huge. I want to show everyone the calendar, and we're
Yep.
going to improve this and make it even better and make it this is still a work in progress. But yeah, the calendar is just a great way. Like I pull it up every single Monday and I set
Mhm.
actually Sunday night and I sort of set my week up and I make sure I have
Yep.
a plan for, hey, this week I'm going to go to Shameless Promotions. And of
Yep.
course, we're not going to miss net walking. We
Yep.
got Sammy
Yeah,
in the house. So yeah, this is just a great way at a glance to see exactly what's going on so that you can make those connections.
that's awesome. And let me ask you this. It's color coded, right? So you
It
have
is.
our events, you have the St. Lucie Chamber events. Do you also
Yeah.
have any
Morning.
morning events, luncheons, and evening events as well?
Yeah, we got morning, lunch, and evening. Yeah, of course, the bright purple ones are our events.
Right.
So,
I think the next one is what we're gonna be talking
money and
about in a little
marketing.
bit.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we're gonna tell you more about that. But yeah, and this is all Michelle. She came up with the color coding system, and she
Right.
maintains the calendar and moderates the Facebook group. So a lot of this, like the behind the scenes stuff, we couldn't do without her.
That's good stuff. That's
Yeah.
awesome. What else we got here?
And then
Look at
let's see,
this.
yeah, this is pretty cool. So we have 7,100 members, 3,200 newsletter subscribers. I can't believe it's gonna be 3 years. We're gonna have
Yeah.
our 3-year party coming up in just a few months.
I mean, that's just mind blowing. I was
Yeah.
looking at pictures
Yeah.
on socials from a few years back,
Oh,
and
yeah.
let me tell you, man, that what we've been able to build with such a wonderful community of business owners that have helped, because we would not
Yeah.
have been able to do it without them.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Exactly. Yeah. Keeps yeah, next event, which we'll talk about in a minute. And then, yeah, for who wants to work with us or interact or engage, the new site is much more interactive in that sense. Where if you're interested in advertising with us, whether it's in the newsletter, whether it is
Mhm.
in the at one of our events on a TV banner, you can do all of that directly on the site. And then, of course, we have some testimonials. If you're watching this and you haven't left a Google review, come over to the site, click write a review, and yeah, let us know what your experience has been with the business club.
Nice, 5.0 with 11 reviews. I
Yeah,
like it. I'm liking it so far.
awesome. So yeah, that's what we wanted to share. This is pretty cool. I don't think we've covered this. We tried to come up with some like mission statements and things that we're really trying to aspire to do. Because
Mhm.
it really is all about service with us and about giving back, community first. Like these are the principles we try to live by.
Yep.
Danny and I, we've said it from day one. It's not about the money. And I'll just be honest. Like if you're gonna start a group like this, it's not for the money because there's a
Oh,
lot of
yeah. If
better
you're gonna
ways to
start it
spend
to
your
be
time.
profitable, then you're
Yeah,
you're definitely in the wrong business.
yeah, don't everyone's like, "Oh, networking events, those must be so profitable." No, they're not. They're
No.
very expensive and
Yeah.
very stressful.
Yeah,
Um,
very.
but
But
yeah, we
but this
try to
is fantastic. I mean, we live by these pillars. I mean, from
yeah,
day one, it's always been about, collaboration over competition. It's
yeah,
always been about giving first, about being part of the community, empowering the community, helping others. We've always, made sure that we were also very transparent with,
yeah,
the investment that we've put in. For those of you who don't know, because we're getting so many new people, when we started the group 3 years ago, Nick and I put our own money into
yeah,
building the majority of what we did, and we've never steered away from that because we still do it to this day. So
yeah,
any revenue that we bring in at the events goes right back into the community and right back into the events.
absolutely. So yeah, so check out the website, let us know what you think and make it more
Yeah, give us your
interactive.
feedback
Yeah, and it'll
for sure.
continue to evolve. The next big on the website is to make it more interactive for people to sign up for roadside cleanups, which is something we're going to be doing regularly, and
Hmm.
community service tours, um, all of that stuff. You'll just be able to go to the website, and it'll be sort of a first come first serve. It's open up to the entire community now. We don't have only a select few that can participate. It's everyone who's a member of the Facebook group will have access to all these opportunities.
And that's something else that we decided to change and evolve. I shouldn't say change, evolve over the course of our time, thinking how we can improve. Along with our leadership team, our leadership team helps us make these decisions, and we wanted more people to get involved. I think some of the feedback that we received from people who were not part of the formal program was that they felt that they had to be part of the program and the inside in order to volunteer and do community work. And that's not the message that we wanted
Yeah.
to relay. We wanted to make sure that everyone felt like they are empowered to be a volunteer in any of the community efforts. And if you have questions in regards to nonprofits, things of that nature, you could reach out to our social impact director, Zachary Grubb, the owner of SE Logo Wear and American Design.
Yep.
So please, if you're interested in volunteering, feel free to reach out to us. We'll get you in contact with Zach.
Yeah. Or if you have a connection to a local nonprofit, we're trying to set up one tour every single month. And it's usually limited to like 12 people that sign up. And then,
Yeah.
what we want to do is we want to empower business owners to attend the tour, take photos, share information, and just help get the word out there. And we've done it with Harmony Hope Stables, Project Lift,
Yep.
Care Bag. Um,
Hmm.
I'm probably forgetting so many because those are like the most
A lot.
recent ones.
Yeah, I mean, we've
Yeah.
done video content for Arc of the Treasure
Yep.
Coast. We've done it for I believe Dogs and Cats Forever, I think
Oh
was
yeah.
one of them that you
Hmm.
did recently. So we make it a point to highlight those nonprofits because they do need our help. For those who can
Yeah.
help, they're always seeking help.
Yeah. Well, why don't we talk about our next event, which is going to be a really interesting one, something we haven't done before. Tell us about
Yeah,
it.
I mean, this is going to be fantastic. You wanna pull up the graphic with the QR code if you can.
Yeah, let me see if I
I
can
think
load
that'd be
that up.
great because if you're watching it live, you could just scan it right on the screen. This is going to be one of the most unique workshops that I've experienced, seen, heard of on the Treasure Coast. And Nick and I brainstormed this for some time, but it takes time for us to be able to find time on our calendar to do these type of things. And it's called
Yeah.
Money and Marketing. Nick, do you want to talk about what you're going to be talking about, and then I'll talk about what I'm going to be talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. And I put the link in the chat so you can
Perfect.
just click on it, and or you could just go to pslbusinessclub.com/workshop. That'll take you there if you're not able to click on it. But yeah, so the idea is we want to take these two very important business topics and in just 2 hours help you walk away with really actionable advice that you can implement right away. And you're having lunch at the same time, and it's a networking opportunity, and it's just a nice little midday break. So it's like it's a win-win-win. And what I'll be covering are some of the fundamental principles you need to know when it comes to marketing. So we're not going to be talking about the very specific tactics like you should be advertising on Facebook with video ads because that
No,
stuff's changing, right?
yeah,
And
that's
you
all
don't
changing.
yeah, and you can't really learn that in 2 hours. Instead, we're gonna talk about stuff that never changes. You know, how important is it to understand your audience, your message, your offer, how to get in front of people, the importance of getting attention and building a community, and all of those fundamental principles. And that way, it'll give you that strategy framework that you could then eventually apply all these different tactics to. So at least that's the marketing side. And then Danny, you're going to be talking about money. What are you going to be
Yeah.
covering?
Of course, the number one thing is the mindset around money. Business owners do such a great job of bringing in the revenue into the business, but having a really good relationship with the revenue that you're bringing in order to make sure that you're making prudent financial decisions for your business,
Mhm.
whether that's marketing, whether that's hiring, whatever it is that you are doing in order to scale and grow your business. That's number one. Number two, we're also going to talk about protecting what you've built. Again, business owners are so great at building their business. The last thing you want to happen is if, God forbid, something were to happen to a key person, a revenue generating individual, or even the owner themselves, that the company is then left in limbo. So, again, it's not going to be recommendations, but they're just going to be things that business owners should keep in mind while running their business. And the last thing that we're going to talk about is how to have a proper valuation, right? Knowing what your business is worth, because from my experience, most business owners build businesses to at some point exit the business, whether that's leaving it behind to someone that they love, like a family member or a child, leaving it to a charity, or selling it.
Yeah.
Right. So you got to know really what your business is truly worth. So you know what you've worked so hard for, so you can exit that business in the most efficient manner. So those are the three things that we're going to talk about when it comes to money in your business.
Yeah. So definitely sign up. It's only $47. It's on April 29th. So it's in just about a week. And it's at Tudo
Yep.
Fresco, and lunch is included.
Yes, $47 gets you the lunch. You're going to be in front of some really influential business owners. We're also have a dessert sponsor. Jamie Burrow from Burrow Legal is going to be sponsoring our dessert menu. So thank you to Jamie Burrow for sponsoring dessert for our luncheon. It's going to be absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, we're looking forward. And then beyond that, I think our next big event will be our 3-year anniversary event. We don't have a date for it yet, but it'll be technically the anniversary of the business club is July. So it'll be like late July, maybe August. And that one's going to be pretty big.
Yeah, be on the lookout for that. Like, just stay engaged in the group because as Nick and I get together, find the location, find the sponsors, do all the work behind it, all the logistics, we're going to be putting out content around that. So make sure
Yeah.
that you're engaging in the group to stay top of mind. But once we're done with the workshop, him and I are going to get to work on our annual event. So definitely be on the lookout for any updates
Yeah.
pertaining to our annual event.
And Joel, I see you said neat concept. Yeah. So the idea is if this workshops is successful, we want to make it a regular thing, like a regular ongoing, maybe quarterly event where we would do different topics. And it won't
Yeah,
always be us up there. Like we'll get
correct.
experts from the Port St. Lucie Business Club to come up there. So, like this one is money and marketing, but who knows? In the future, we might have accounting and
Bookkeeping.
acrobatics. I don't know.
Right? Because
What's that?
bookkeeping and accounting they're two different skill sets, right? So if
Yeah.
you're an accountant or a CPA in bookkeeping, that's two different skill sets. Some do it all,
Right.
but there are some that are laser focused on bookkeeping and
Yeah.
accounting. That's one, right? And then there's branding and speaking,
There
right?
you go.
There's
Yeah.
social media and speaking.
Right.
So there's just so much. There's so many concepts that can be married together in order to bring some powerful workshops. So if
Yeah.
you're someone that's open and interested in having
Cool.
a workshop, reach out to Nicholas and myself, and we'll be more than happy to highlight and we could
Yeah.
talk about details. But we really want some powerful speakers that are product knowledge experts or service based
Yeah.
businesses that are experts to be highlighted and use our
Yeah.
platform to get your word out.
Look at this one. Joel says, "How about profit over revenue?" See, that's a great idea. Yeah, and maybe
Yeah,
combining that with public speaking, profit and public speaking, something
yeah,
where it's just about giving value. This is not a sales pitch. Like, I think a lot
yep.
of people have the conception that, like, they're gonna go to these workshops and it's just gonna be something you're gonna get sold. Like, we're literally not selling you
Oh yeah,
anything.
there's no
Yeah,
we're not selling any services or
yeah,
any platforms or any this is purely
pure
educational.
value.
In fact,
Yeah.
people are probably gonna walk away going, "Wait, I thought I was gonna walk away buying something," but it's
Right.
you're not. It's purely
Yeah.
educational. I think that the biggest one of the biggest opportunities we have in our community is to provide researched, backed
Yeah.
education, right? With resources, cited information that people can walk away with that they themselves can implement. And as they dive deeper into their implementation
Mhm.
process, then they can go ahead and hire those experts to come in and support their business because we know that some businesses there are a lot of do-it-yourselfers, but the reality is I am not one of those people. If I'm not great at something, I'm going to defer to an expert to do it
Yeah.
because I just don't have the bandwidth or the time to do it. And I need to buy my time back. So it's important that everyone gets all the information so they themselves can put in the work to learn it. And at some point in their business, they're going to want to defer that work. But I think they're going to walk
Right.
away with a lot of powerful information that they could implement immediately when they walk out.
Yeah. We're all going through the same problems, right? And we're all at different
Yeah.
stages. And that's what I love about our community is that it's so easy to find somebody who might be just a couple steps ahead of you, either in the same industry or in a different industry, and they've already dealt with the problem you're dealing with. Like just the other day, I was talking to somebody from our group about
Yeah.
hiring because that's something that I'm struggling with
Yep.
right now. And they're like, "Oh no, this is how you got to think about it. You got to do this, you got to do
Yep.
that." It's like you just want to find those people and just pick their brain and see how you can help them
And
as
also
well.
conflict resolution. A lot of business owners are dealing with conflict resolution between employees and keeping really good
Mhm.
employees in their businesses. So if anyone is an expert in whether they've done HR before in the past or whether they've led teams in the past and they're very good at conflict resolution, that'd be a great concept, right? How to
Yeah.
manage employees because some of these new business owners have never managed employees before in the past. This is a
Mhm.
brand new concept to them. How great would it be if somebody came that was an expert at managing teams for years and years and be able to help them with conflict resolution? That'd be fantastic. That's a great
Yeah,
concept. Some
that's the way
people
to
have
do it.
even called me on Danny, how should I handle this? And I go, whoa, whoa, wait. I can help you with the money side. I
You're
can't
like
help you with the conflict
you're like, "That's
resolution.
not
That's
my
not my
area.
area.
Don't ask me about money because I don't know nothing
Right.
about it. I know how to spend it." Joel says, "I agree 100%. As
Yeah.
business owners, we need to help other business owners." Absolutely.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Full disclosure, I know nothing about marketing, about any of that stuff. And I bother Nick probably more than anybody else in
I
the
know.
community. Like, what do you think? What
"What
are
do you
your
think of my
thoughts?
logo? What should I do
Yeah,
here?"
I'm always because
Yeah,
I want his brain, his
yeah,
marketing brain to look at it from a completely different perspective because I don't know about this stuff.
Yeah.
So why not leverage each other to help and support? Because at some point, organically, as we grow in trust and relationships, we're gonna do business together at some point. It's just has to happen
Yeah.
organically.
What up, Daryl? Thank you for
Daryl, what's
joining
up? Number
us.
one notary on the Treasure Coast, from what I see on the Facebook group.
Yeah. He says he's great at managing his 2 employees, Claude and
There you
ChatGPT.
go.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
I think you're
Join
about
the
to
club.
fire one.
Yeah, right. Yeah, why are you using
Yeah,
both? We all moved to
yeah.
Claude.
Didn't you watch Nick's
Uh,
YouTube video on how to migrate ChatGPT to Claude?
yeah, takes like 2 seconds. What's up, Zach? Thank you for joining us. Zach says, "Hey, guys, just wanted to say thanks so much for the amazing pop-up event." Thank
Yeah,
you, absolutely. Yeah, thank you for everything you did to help us make it possible.
absolutely. And Joel just gave said a good point. If we have a mastermind, that's a great point, Joel.
Ooh,
We don't. We've talked about that. We've put it out there in the universe, in the Port St.
I
Lucie
like that.
Business Club
Yeah.
universe, to see if somebody wanted to head that. But I think having a mastermind would be absolutely ideal
If we get
for
enough
our
interest for it,
community.
I think we could definitely get that in the works for like a maybe a Q3, Q4,
Yeah,
launch. That would be cool.
yeah. And it
Like a
doesn't have
real
to be big.
mastermind.
A
Yeah, just
nice,
something intimate. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. A nice curated mastermind.
yeah.
That'd be fantastic. Any other
Daryl
questions?
says
Because I know
use
Nick
what's
put it
up?
out there. What did Daryl say?
I use Claude for everything.
Oh, okay, yeah,
ChatGPT is just for helping with flyers or image generation. That's pretty much how I'm using ChatGPT now.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
for
pretty
now,
much.
until although Claude did just come out with Claude Design, so look that up.
Yes,
It can't really do, like, the same type of flyer creation yet, but, I mean, it's probably just a matter of weeks or months until that's possible.
I saw this. Now that we're on that point, I saw this YouTube video of two graphic designers using Claude and Lovable.
Ooh,
Now, it was 95% accurate, and it designed it like a senior or advanced graphic designer, but there were still some flaws that needed personal touches, like
mm,
language and messaging and things
yep.
of that nature. But man, they even on the YouTube video they were saying this is getting really, really, really close.
Yeah, kinda scary if you're a graphic designer.
Well, think of here's another, and Joel, this is actually because Joel is engaging with us tremendously. Imagine someone who's an expert
Mhm,
at prompting and navigating AI in order to get the most out of it. Imagine having a luncheon just on AI prompting. And
yeah,
then everyone brings their laptop, everyone opens up their Claude, and they literally do it live to practice how to do it and how to save projects,
mhm.
how to create projects. Huh. Light bulb moment.
Sounds like a good one.
I
There
won't
needs
be the
to be
one
some
doing that
AI
because I'm an
training.
idiot when it comes to that. I'll be in the class taking it.
I'm trying to keep up. I mean, I get asked all the time to do these AI trainings, and it's like, I mean, the stuff that I was teaching 3 months ago is irrelevant now.
It's
It's insane.
irrelevant.
I had to do one a few weeks ago, and it was right when all the agents are becoming possible, like these chat agents, and it's like, I didn't have any of that in my presentation that I did 3 months
Yeah.
ago because it's changing
Yeah.
so quickly.
I mean, it's changing so much that I inputted a bespoke portfolio along with a UMA portfolio into ChatGPT. This was months
Mhm.
ago. Then I did it in Claude, and I asked Claude to stress test a 30-year retirement outlook, taking out X amount of dollars per year
Yeesh.
and taking into account longevity risk and sequence of return risk. And what it did, what it spit out, I said, "Oh boy,
Yeah,
this is gonna make me the most efficient advisor." Like if you're not an advisor or a marketer who's leveraging AI, you're falling behind
yeah.
big time.
But something you told me, let me know if this is still true, is that it's still missing the empathy when it comes to,
Yeah,
like, talking about money and the relationship. Is that still true?
yeah, it's the behavior because mathematically it can prove out a bulletproof plan, but there's the behavioral component of finance. It's how
Yeah.
people make decisions. what happens if this portfolio works right now, but what happens if a couple or a family or a marriage, they get divorced?
Mhm.
Does that same portfolio mathematically still prove out? No, because you have to split assets. Now the
Yeah.
plan completely changes. What happens if one passes away?
Hmm.
It changes. So there's a lot of things that can change in someone's lifetime, along with the way people make decisions when it comes to money. And that's why I like reading books like Make Money Easy, because it
Mm.
shouldn't be complicated. It shouldn't be complicated. But AI is great to prove out in theory, but in application, it's completely different because people make decisions differently. Not everyone does the same thing. So it's
Yes.
very different.
Daryl says, "Leave your feelings at the door." I guess that's in reply to my, thing about
Oh,
the
yeah.
empathy and yeah, just let the computers decide
Joel
where we
says
should
should be
invest.
investing in nuke plants and data centers.
Oh, god, that's a good question.
That's a really good question. I mean, listen, if you work with a hedge fund that where you could put millions of dollars into those things, I mean, sure.
Data centers for sure. I mean, there's
Data
definitely
centers for sure, yeah.
opportunity there.
I would
Yeah,
not be surprised if a fund starts putting ETF portfolios together for
yeah,
data
and if
centers.
you
I
think
mean,
about all the things that are connected to it, like the energy that's required and all the
everything,
manufacturing that goes into the steel for the buildings, like, there's such a boom anything connected to data
everything is
centers.
involved with it.
Yeah.
I think, but there's also, but then there's the real conflict. There was even an article on CNBC. They were doing there was a news reel that came out. There's towns that are fighting against data
Oh, yeah.
centers being built in their
I
community.
think we're one of them, or Fort Pierce is, like, there's always it seems like some story about, "Oh, they're gonna try to put one in Fort Pierce or in
Yeah,
Okeechobee." Yeah,
yeah. I mean, it's always again, it's gonna be it's gonna move fast and it's gonna change dramatically. So what we're talking about right now is gonna make absolutely no sense in a year
yeah,
or two. That's how fast it's happening.
and it seems inevitable as much as like and I say this, and I know this sounds weird because, like, I'm so plugged into AI, like,
Yeah.
I teach it, I use it, I train clients on it, we sell AI products, but I'll say this, like, I would love to go back to the time before AI, like, I'm not talking that long ago, I'm saying, like,
You
2022,
mean
you know?
you mean 4 months ago? No,
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
kidding.
Like, seriously, I would love to go back to that because things were so much simpler, but I'm also, like, super realistic in the sense that I know for a fact it's not gonna slow down, it's not gonna stop.
No.
We're gonna have more data centers whether we like it or
Yeah.
not,
Yeah.
so we just have to sort of embrace it because I don't think there's any other choice.
Yeah, I mean, you could resist it as much as you want,
Yeah,
but you're gonna have to learn how to integrate it in your life and in your business
yeah.
over a long period of time, just like we did with cell phones. I mean, think about the first trader that had a BlackBerry that had information faster than all of his colleagues, and he was able to execute on trades much faster than anybody else because he had information.
Oh,
We
yeah.
adapted. Then the iPhone came out. We adapted.
I thought
FaceTime
that
came
was
out.
stupid. Do you
Yeah,
remember where were you when the iPhone got announced? Because I remember very specifically,
I was
I
working.
had heard about it and they said it was a phone without buttons, and I said,
Yeah,
"That is the dumbest thing I ever heard of. I need a keyboard. How am I
yep,
gonna type? How am I gonna do anything? Who's gonna buy a phone that's
yeah.
just some screen to look at? You can't do anything with it."
I had the big blue 8800 or 80 something hundred BlackBerry with the
Yep.
wheel on the
Yep.
side,
Yeah, that was
and
awesome.
I'm like, "How am I supposed to type if I don't have a keyboard?"
Yeah.
But I got the iPhone years after it came out.
Yeah, I think
Years.
I had the iPhone 4, so I think I waited, like, 4 years.
2012,
Yeah, something around
2011, 2012, yeah. So
yeah, I
that's
waited
how
for a long
fast
time.
AI is gonna move, is that it's
Yep.
gonna move. I wouldn't be surprised that that's the reason Tim Cook retired today.
Yeah, I saw that. What's up with that? That's crazy.
I think it's time. I mean, it's been looming because every interview that
Hmm,
he's done, they've been asking him
hmm,
who's his successor and where Apple's going. I it again, he probably doesn't have the bandwidth to
yeah.
adapt to this new revolution that we're experiencing, and he needs someone that's quicker, that's faster, that's younger, that thinks. And he's
Yeah,
probably already listen. I've taken Apple to where it's going to go. Now it's time for the new generation
somebody
to take it
else.
to the next level.
They need that because yeah,
They
they're
do need
way
that.
behind. I
They're
mean, if you
way,
look at
way
all the
behind.
big companies, they're probably the furthest behind when it comes to AI specifically.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
They're last place. But again,
yeah.
like Apple does everything, it waits and then it makes everything better.
Yeah, and they have an advantage. They own the hardware that a lot of us use, you know, like right now this is we're on Mac computers, like we all have iPhones. Like
Yeah.
that's a very important part of this ecosystem that a lot of these other companies like OpenAI and Anthropic, even Meta, don't really control because they don't control the hardware, they just control the software.
Yeah, and I can see I can see Apple doing something really big in the next 2 years,
Yeah.
where it revolutionizes their relationship with AI and how they integrate it into their product suite. But back to
Yeah.
the club, kind of like
Yeah,
Apple,
right.
where we wait
This turned
we
into a
wait
tech
to the last
podcast
minute.
for a minute
No,
there.
no, that's pretty cool though. I'm sure people love that stuff. But talk about adapting and evolving. That's kind of what we went through
Yeah.
in these past few months, is adapting and evolving. The club is not going to continue to stay the same all the time. Nick and I, we're thought leaders. We always look for ways to improve, to become more efficient, to be better, to serve better, to be more involved in the community. We're always looking for ways. So if you see us rapidly changing things, it's because that's how quickly things have to change,
Yeah.
because the needs change. So, where we're going in the next, year or two, I think is going to be really exciting. And if you want to, be along for the ride, stick around. It's going to be really fun.
Yeah. So as we wrap this up, we'll rattle off some ways that you can get involved or stay
Hmm.
more closely connected. So number one is make sure you're in our Facebook group. If you're just watching this on YouTube or on our Facebook page, make sure you are also a member of our 7,100 member private Facebook group.
Hmm.
You can just search for Port St. Lucie Business Club and join. That's where all the daily conversations happen. And second of all, make sure you are subscribed to our newsletter called The Connection. You could just go to pslbusinessclub.com and click on the newsletter button and sign up, because that way you'll get all the news, business news, one email a week. We're not going to spam you, and it's a great way to stay involved in what's going on.
Absolutely.
And get your tickets for Money in Marketing Live. You got 8 days until we are going to be live at Tudo Fresco. We hope to see everyone there. It's going to be a lot of fun. And you
Man,
could say that you were there for the first Port St. Lucie Business Club workshop.
absolutely. It's going to be a fun event. There's going to be a few surprises because a couple of people have reached out in regards to content, videos,
Yeah.
photography. There's going to be some really cool stuff happening.
Yeah. Any final words before we wrap up?
Yeah. Any final questions?
Let's see.
Let's see. Nothing coming up.
Nothing.
Joe,
It's a
you got
slow
anything
night.
else for us? Yeah, it's a slow night. We usually get a lot of engagement. I think
Maybe
it's
because it's
because of the
Monday. I don't think we've ever done one on a
Monday.
Monday.
We've never done one on a
Usually it's
Monday.
like because we
And
do it the same week as the event, and it's usually like a Tuesday, and then we'll do the live stream on like a Wednesday or Thursday.
and we're
Yeah.
usually doing it after an event that just held 175 to 200
Yeah.
people. And everyone is like hyped up on it, right? We did a pop-up.
Yeah.
But I think overall, I think with with the direction that we're going, and it's gonna be pretty exciting to see what's next.
It will be. Well, then, yeah, I guess we'll wrap up. Hopefully, you can stay connected. And if anyone ever has any questions, you always can reach out to us, and
Yes,
you know
sir.
where to find us.
For sure.